it's Em, and we're here to talk about Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Now, I bought this book on a whim and thought I knew what I was getting, but it wasn't quite that. And I have very mixed feelings and complicated feelings about the whole thing, so brace yourselves, I guess. I picked this up on a weekend away. There was like this little mobile bookshop, and I wanted to buy something from them, give them some business. And I saw this, and hey, I have a film degree. I like movies. I worked in publishing. I worked on film. This felt like a good blend of things. I think I thought it was going to have characters who were maybe a little older, like in their 20s. And I think I had the idea that maybe the film industry was involved in some way. I don't think I did a close reading of the flap. I had this notion that the main character was coming home from college and re-meeting the boy next door, whom she had not liked when they were younger. But maybe she would find that she liked him now. That's not what this was. Although that's a great idea for a book, and that book probably does exist somewhere. If you know it, drop me a note in the comments to tell me where that book is. This is a high school relationship book told entirely from the point of view of Liz, the main character who is a senior in high school. She loves romantic comedies. She's kind of fixated on them because her mother died when she was in, I want to say 5th grade. And her mom apparently was a screenwriter for like, it sounds like for television movies, like maybe for like the Hallmark Channel kind of stuff. And she and her mom used to watch these rom-coms and things together. So it's kind of her tie to her deceased mother. You know, in the first few chapters, like I wasn't even sure Liz had a dad, like if he was involved in her life at all, because he doesn't really get a mention. And so at first I thought she had to go live with her dad and her stepmom, but no, her dad had been there, like her parents had still been married when the mom died. And then the dad, a year maybe or so later, remarried. And so she's had this stepmom since she was, in, I don't know, 6th or 7th grade, I guess. Okay, so the mom died from being on a bicycle late one night and getting hit by a car, I think. I don't know. The dad is now really overprotective and wants Liz home by midnight all the time because of what happened to her mom. There's a movie, kind of a little indie movie. I want to say it's called Hearts Beat Loud, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll put a poster over here. It's got Nick Offerman in it. Hearts Beat Loud is the song from the movie, and I think it's also the title of the movie. It's a really good movie, but it is a movie about an overprotective dad whose wife died in a bicycling accident, and he won't let the daughter even learn to ride a bike. And, so I was kind of like, did the author pick this thread up from that movie? I don't know. Okay, so that's all set up. The other part of this is that Liz has had friends since childhood. They've lived in the same houses their whole lives. They live in Nebraska, I think. One boy who lives next door, he's been literally the boy next door her whole life. His name is Wes Bennett. So we are picking up a Pride and Prejudice name here. But Wes he's always been that kid who's like obnoxious, I guess. Anybody with a brain, which this main character, I have my doubts, would have figured out that Wes acts out to get her attention, right? Like the kid who pulls the hair in middle school. Because to these kinds of guys, any attention is good attention, even if it's bad attention, if that makes sense. What I don't understand is that they used to play together as kids. They live next door to each other. But then, like, aside from arguing constantly over a parking space, a street parking spot that's kind of in front of their houses, they don't interact at all now in high school. And Liz makes it seem like they haven't interacted in years. But he's like right next door. I mean, you see him, you go to school together. Like, how do you not? You've had classes together, right? Like, you must know something. But she acts like she doesn't know anything about this guy, except that he's obnoxious and fights her for this parking space all the time. And I find that hard to believe, let's just say. Because as she gets to know him through the book, and we'll talk about the reasons in a moment, as she gets to know him through the book, she's like, oh my God, he's actually kind of not awful. He's actually kind of nice. People really like him. I've only ever seen this one side of him, and clearly he's, more than just this prankster, irritating guy or whatever. He's actually really cute. Oh, he's actually really nice. Oh, And, yeah, I don't know. I feel like you would know that. You would have figured that out. She doesn't even know that he plays baseball. She's like, he plays a ball sport, I think, and then it turns out to be baseball, and it's just like, I feel like you'd know. I grew up in a small town, small-ish. We had 2 high schools. Ours was the main high school, and then there was a newer one that had been built as the town got bigger. And even people I didn't know, I knew of or knew about, because we had like 400-ish people in my graduating class. So we all kind of knew each other. We'd all had classes with each other at some point in time. Yeah, I don't know. I can't wrap my brain around it. Anyway, the story goes, as it were, a kid they used to play with named Michael when they were young. He had moved away not long after Liz's mom died, I think. So right around the same time Liz's mom died, Michael moved away. He has come back. They've moved back his senior year, and it's spring. I'm like, dude, that sucks, because he'd lived in Texas, apparently. Also, I grew up in Texas. I'm sorry for you, Michael. It didn't always used to be as bad as it is now, but it was never like the cradle of progressive, thought or anything. But he moves back the spring of his senior year, which I just feel like, I'm like, why? Like, why wouldn't you just at least let your kid like graduate with his class and then move? I don't know. Again, whatever. It's weird because it doesn't really get talked about at all, like why they're back. Or late in the book, they mention his dad has been like promoted to colonel. So I guess they're a military family. But again, like, you've been in Texas this whole time. If you're a military family, my parents were Navy. There's a certain amount of moving around involved. So I don't know. Anyway, Michael reappears, and Liz had a crush on him when they were younger. Like a literal like kindergarten type crush, and is like, this is my moment. This is a sign that Michael and I should be together. He's come back just in time for prom and all this kind of thing. And she asks Wes to help her win Michael over, because Wes and Michael kind of reunite as in a friendly way, and Liz sees Wes as her in, I guess. And she promises him the parking space. She'll never fight him for it again. He can have it if he just helps her get Michael to ask her to prom. And it goes from there in very predictable ways. Each chapter starts with a quote from a rom-com. Liz is so... She starts telling these just bizarre lies for no good reason. And there are plenty of places where I'm like, why didn't you just say this? Like, even if you didn't want to tell the whole truth, there are ways to... So... The lies, first of all, why she tells them, there's no good reason. And then the ones she chooses to tell, it's like, if you're gonna lie, do better than that. And then, like, the way she treats her stepmom, Liz is fixated on this, this idea that, all these senior things that we're doing, my mom should be here for. And I don't want Helena, my stepmom to sub in. So she's like avoiding going dress shopping with her best friend and trying to avoid the senior events as opposed to embracing them. And her best friend, Joss, is, excited to do all the senior stuff and doesn't understand why she suddenly can't get her best friend Liz to join in and be there. And, so Liz treats Joss really badly. Liz treats the stepmom really badly. Liz's hang up about her mom and the rom-coms and everything, it just didn't make sense in the way it was written. Even though Liz in the book is explaining how she feels and why, I didn't feel it. It felt very telly in a way that wasn't like, yeah, that makes sense. It was like, get real. There was just something about it that I didn't get the feels. And that seems to be the problem I'm having with a lot of books these days, where like I'm being told a story and the story's kind of fine. This one's very rote, very basic, very tropey, which I knew at least that much going in because I knew it was going to be about rom-coms and was probably going to situate itself in the tropey world of rom-coms. That part didn't bother me because I knew that was going to happen. But like the main character is just so self-involved and so slow to pick up any kind of cues. For somebody who has spent her life watching romantic comedies, she does not pick up any of the things happening around her that are quintessential romantic comedy moments and tropes. The things that she fixates on that are like the meet cute moment, okay, fine. But then there are lots of other moments where I'm like, why are you not seeing this if you're such a rom-com lover? Why are you not getting the hints? Partly because she's so self-involved, partly because she's busy lying and being cruddy to the people around her. I don't know. She wasn't, in the end, very likable. And, oh my God, has one of the worst cases of not like other girls that I've ever seen in a book. She loves vintage clothes and she doesn't wear jeans like other girls. She wears quirky floral things. And Wes teases her for it. And so there's a point where Wes goes shopping with Liz to help her pick out some more normal clothes that might draw Michael in. Because the idea is that Michael remembers Liz as this weird little kid from when they were little, and Liz needs to show him that, no, she's all grown up now, and, she's not weird. She is, but, she's going to pretend not to be to try and get the guy. Again, very tropey, whatever. So for a little while, she does wear the jeans and she wears like Converse and, whatever. And people are like, oh, that's a really cute outfit on you and this and that. And her best friend's even like, oh, I was kind of hoping you'd stick with the more modern girl aesthetic. But of course, by the end of it, Liz has gone back to her weird ways because Wes loves her just the way she is. That's the girl he fell in love with so many years ago from the time they were little, blah, blah, blah. And I don't love that we're glorifying the guy, pranking and being obnoxious as a sign of love. I know this is very low key in the abuse thing, but it's so immature. And again, it just primes the reader to think, oh, when a guy's being mean or dumb or pranking me or whatever, it means he likes me. And it's like, don't encourage that. Demand better than like the not like other girls thing because she's quirky and different. And I'm like, girl, you are not the only person who has lost a parent in this entire town. Why is that your entire personality? I don't know. I'm being harsh. I know. A lot of people seem to like this book. I did not. Well, here's the thing. It was a solid 2.5 stars for me. And I really had to debate, do I round up to 3? Do I round down to 2? And at first I was rounding up to 3 because I was like, well, it's kind of fine. But the more I thought about it, the less I liked it. So I ended up rounding down to 2 stars. It's fine in some ways, but there's enough that I don't like about it that I can't give it 3 stars. It's not good enough for that. For me, again, all very subjective, obviously, but I didn't like her, and everything's from her point of view. And Wes seems really sweet and kind in a lot of ways, but then I can't get behind a guy who tries to get your attention by pranking you and giving you a hard time. Now, kudos to Wes for, agreeing to help Liz get another guy. I assume it was because he just wanted to find ways to spend time with her, like reasons for her to spend time with him or whatever. I mean, maybe he really loves her so much that he wants her to be happy, and if that means getting Michael, then so be it. I don't know. That kind of wasn't entirely clear to me. Liz realizes way too late that she actually likes Wes instead of Michael, and then the book goes on for, again, longer than it needs to. It's like 350 pages, and it didn't need to be this long. Also, Liz's fixation on curating music, so she's constantly walking around with her earbuds in and setting like scenes in her mind to music, and I get it, people do that. It's almost like it tried to do too much. This book, at the end of the day, this book tried to do too much. It tried to do the rom-com thing. It tried to do the complicated stepmother thing, the difficult best friend, the deceased mom grief thing, music. And also, like, randomly, it turns out Michael reads the Bridgerton books, and there's, like, pages of gushing over Julia Quinn, and no thank you. Just, no thank you. This book is good for some people. I'm not those people. I know there's a sequel, and I think it's from Wes's point of view, but I don't have any interest or any desire. This will go to a used bookstore or to a library donation because, this doesn't need to stay here. I don't anticipate ever wanting to go through it again. And I don't think there's anybody in my house who wants to. So that is a long and semi-rant, I guess, about Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. If you've read it and you love it, I'm happy for you. If it's your thing, yay. I like a good YA rom-com. No. Even still, this premise was fine. The execution did not work for me. It's all subjective. I'm emptying this room because even though I just moved into this brand new home office, we're about to rip all the carpets out and put in hardwood. And so now I've got to take everything off the shelves so the shelves can be moved so we can, it's a whole thing. Maybe I'll rearrange my office afterwards, do something a little different. That probably means no videos for a little bit until the work is done. Until next time, take care.